Extremely toxic best friend story time. So when I was in 8th grade, there was this boy. And this boy would go around telling almost every girl that he liked her. And I was one of those girls. And he would do stuff with all of us. And there were like 11 of us. So we all hated each other. Especially this one girl, and we're gonna call her Abby. And every time we saw each other, we would be super mean to each other. Well, a year passed, we stopped talking to this kid. And I bumped into her at homecoming and basically apologized. So after that, we became best friends. And everything was good until every time I told her about a guy, she would start talking to them. Like this one boy that I was Snapchatting and talking to, she accidentally sent nudes to him and said, "Oh, sorry, I meant to send them to my boyfriend." So then she called one of my other best friends and said, "No, it actually wasn't an accident." And of course he told me because he was my best friend. So I was like, whatever, and stopped talking to the boy. And she did it again, like for part 2.
Storytime on how I got caught stealing tampons. Yes, I know tampons. Anyways, this was when I was in 6th grade, and at the time, I didn't even start my period. But my best friend Katrina did. She'd get really cute pads and tampons. The one with butterflies and flowers. And I was so jealous because I wanted to keep those cute packets in my purse and take them into the bathroom. So one day after school, I go into a pharmacy and I see the exact same tampons that my friend Katrina had, but they were like $24 and I didn't have that. So I stuffed a box of tampons in my book bag and I tried to walk out. But before I get close to the door, an employee stops me and takes me into a room. And guys, when she found out what I stole, I didn't even get in trouble. She actually bought them for me and she bought me Tylenol.
I was in class on Zoom. I wanted to go to sleep, honestly, because like when I'm tired, I go to sleep. I end up falling asleep and then class ends and everyone starts leaving the class except me because I was like in a whole other universe at this point. I was dreaming, I was flying. At this point, me and the teacher are alone in the call. This is the best part. Then the teacher starts talking to me and he's like, "Samantha, wake up. Samantha, please. Samantha, you have another class." He woke me up, but I was half awake, so I didn't really know what was going on. So I thought it was my brother waking me up, and I straight up yelled. I was like, "Shut up, you fat booger." And so then I realized, oh shit, I just called my teacher a fat booger. And now he scheduled a parent conference. I'm going on Monday, so I'm really excited.
Storytime, my boyfriend cheated on me with not 1, not 2, but 26 different girls. And like all of these relationships start, we met on a dating app. As I was just casually scrolling through, I came across him, James, and I thought that he was so cute. So I obviously decided to hit him up, and we had a really, really good connection. But one hesitation that I had about him is that he was on his phone a lot, sometimes even ignoring me in the process. But we continued to date for about 3 years. We were still really young at the time, just 18, but we were very serious about each other. And we decided to make a step to move in together. He was currently living with his grandmother, so I decided to move in with them. His grandma and I got along so well, we were basically best friends, so it worked out. One day his ex randomly showed up, and because of this, it led to James and I getting into a massive fight. It got so bad that I decided to leave and stay with my mom for a few days. And while it was over, I got a request to join a closed Facebook group of 26 different women. Stay tuned for part 2 and add me on Instagram.
This is why you should never date multiple people at once. A story time, I guess. This story takes place when I was 17 or 16. Okay, no one cares. It was a long time ago. And girl, back in the day, I was getting played left, right, and center. Played like a game of football. I had a distinct taste for F-boys. And that was going on for some time until your girl said enough. Enough of this buffoonery. I'm not getting played by men any longer. And I am going to become a player myself. I know the logic is really off, but I was 17, so cut me some slack, okay? So my brilliant idea was, I'm just gonna talk to multiple guys, and I will figure out which one I like in the end. And I'm gonna date that one. Now, in my mind, the plan was flawless. And they do always say, don't put your eggs in one basket. So I end up meeting a couple of guys, and I really like this one guy, but I decide I'm keeping my options open. Already posted part 2, so go watch it.
Storytime of the most dirtiest college roommate ever. By the way, we're calling her Jessie. So I moved in before Jessie and I get settled and decorate. The next day, she comes and throws her bag on the bed, then leaves. I thought it was weird because she didn't even say anything to me. Couple hours later, she comes back and I'm like, hello? And she's like, my bad, and comes give me a hug. She smelled very bad. She starts unpacking all of her clothes and blankets, but they smelled like mildew. Anyways, A week later, there's this party going on for freshmen, and she goes, but I stay in because I had a migraine. I told her that when she comes back, can she keep the light off? Now it's 2 a.m., and she comes back in very loud, uses the bathroom, then goes to sleep. And now I'm up, so I got up to use the bathroom too. When I sit down on the toilet, I feel something very squishy. It was dark because, like I said, I had a migraine. I get up, turn the light on, and I was sitting in her shit.
Story time. So once upon a time in grade 5, I was going through this really strange phenomenon where like 5 of my adult teeth decided to all come in at once. Now I already had this really weird obsession with when I had a loose tooth, I loved to like pluck it out of my face like berries off of a vine. So as you can imagine, sitting there with 5 loose teeth in my mouth felt like I was in an orchard on a hot summer's day. My brothers had just rewatched The Exorcist with me a few nights before while babysitting, so its cinematic masterpiece was still ever fresh in my mind as I sat there not listening to my teacher drone on about numbers, secretly popping my teeth out with my tongue and letting my mouth fill with blood. Till I noticed my dear old classmate Tristane, who used to eat rulers and pick on me, was staring at me. So I looked him dead in the eyes, opened my mouth slowly and let all of the teeth and blood just dribble out onto the desk. Then I said in a low grumble, "You will die tonight." He started screaming and then I had to go to church. Story time. So there I am making out with my best friend's boyfriend in his bedroom. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. After we kissed and cuddled for a while, of course I had to go home. After that, he started asking me to send him pictures, and I told him I couldn't do it because I felt guilty. He was dating my best friend after all. Then stupidly, I gave in and I sent him the picture because I just felt pressured by him. Finally, I told him that we couldn't keep seeing each other because it was just wrong. We agreed and stayed friends. Of course, I caught feelings and I was totally heartbroken. Oh, and did I forget to mention he was my first kiss? After a few days, I noticed that he unadded me from Snapchat. I messaged him and asked him why. Said he was catching feelings for me, but that he didn't want to lose his Playboy reputation. Got upset and ignored his messages, but that made him want me even more. Part 3 is up.
Well, hey, what's up there? It's me again. If you guys are wondering why I haven't been posting for so long, it's because, I'm in a forest right now. This is my amazing setup, and then that's the forest. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. So, doing intricate makeup with little to no makeup with me is very difficult, but still, I will do it. I have like no materials with me, but I do have some white paint, and the only thing I could come up with is Pennywise, so I'm turning myself into Pennywise. Also, I started thinking, why does everyone have a traumatizing experience with a clown? Also, I lost my glue stick, and the nearest store is like an hour away, so you guys are just gonna have to pretend like I don't have eyebrows, okay? I look like the moon emoji right now. I thought I'm gonna have to use red eyeshadow to do the details, but I just found some red paint, yeah! The sun came out, and there's no blinds here. Did anyone ask for a golden hour, Pennywise? When traveling to a forest, always make sure to bring scary teeth with you to scare off all the wolves and bears. In Soviet Russia, bear don't eat you, you eat the bear. I'm just kidding, by the way, I do not eat bears. I just gotta figure out what to do with my hair now. You know what? This is good enough. I can't talk, oh my god. But I hope you guys have an amazing day. Well, hey, what's up?
I got pulled over today, and the cop comes to my window and goes, license, registration, and proof of insurance. And I look at him, I say, officer, I don't have my license on me, I don't have my registration, I don't have any proof of insurance. So then the cop looks at me and goes, then why the hell were you speeding? I caught you going 90 and a 65. And I look at him and I say, officer, the reason I was speeding was because I just killed my girlfriend. I chopped her up and I put her in my trunk. So the cop backs off my window, says, listen, boy, wait right here. And he calls every cop in the area to come look at my car. So my car is now surrounded by cops, and the chief of police does a whole check. He checks my trunk, and all he finds is a backpack. So then he comes to my window. So the chief of police comes up to my window and says, listen, the officer who pulled you over said you had no driver's license, no proof of insurance, no registration, and that you just chopped up your girlfriend and put her in the trunk. But when I looked in the trunk, all I found was a backpack. I found nothing. And I look at the chief of police and I say, yeah, I know. This lying son of a bitch probably told you I'm speeding too, right?
Story time about how I found out my daughter was being abused by her teacher. This story is anonymous. Now, once my daughter Emmy had finally turned 5, I finally put her in school. She was such a people person, she made friends so fast. The first week of her being there, she already had play dates and buddies she wanted to bring over to the house. Except for after about a month into school, her behavior changed drastically. She was a lot more quiet, she wasn't nearly as talkative. She wouldn't play at recess anymore. So I sat her down and I asked her what was going on at school. I'm like, are kids being mean to you? Are you not getting along? What's going on? And she's only 5. I don't know where she learned to behave like this. She would literally say, oh, nothing's wrong. I just have a lot of homework to do and it's stressing me out. 5-year-olds don't get stressed out about homework. It's 1 + 1. So I knew that was all wrong. So I scheduled a meeting with some of her teachers to see if I could talk to them about what's going on in school. Her main teacher agreed to meet with me, like for part 2.